Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your good friend Matt. We are back again here today at the only place that we always can be. And as you already know, that is Matt's Wrestling Collectibles right here on YouTube. Today, guys, we are doing our first casual conversation since coming into this new space, this new place, the new house, and for good reason. As I've told you guys many times, the reason why we were holding off on casual conversation and these episodes was because I wanted to do my room tour before I let you guys see the room. And obviously from where you guys are sitting right now, from the view that you guys have at home, you can clearly see almost this entire room, which is very nice. I really gotta say that's one thing I do like about this new setup, being as where this is, where my camera point is. It is very nice to be able to see most of the room that's around me. As before, we were kind of set up on the other room in a different way, where we were facing the longer way of the room, you know, kind of going left to right with it instead of up and down so much. So now you get to see a lot more of the room in these videos, which I think is very nice. You still get a little glimpse of the TV over there, which is cool. I always love putting my videos on during these videos, just so that way we can have a little something playing and off, and, you know, kind of keeping something going there as well. So I always love to put those up, and as you guys already know, if you've watched these videos before, you have seen that time and time again. But on the TV right now is my current up-to-date room tour video 2025. If you guys haven't already checked that out, please do so. But we are going to start this video off as we should, as we have to. As you can already tell, we're all decked out in the red today, and that is because we are talking about Raw on Netflix. So Raw is red, Netflix is red. We're going as red as we can go today here. As red as we can be. And as always, too, a quick little shout out to right here, Untamed Northeast. You know, you got to have the hoodies on. Big shout out to my buddy Dan and Broke East. If you guys are big car fans or car enthusiasts. If you guys are, please definitely go and check that out between Instagram. I think YouTube is still up. Facebook is still there. They also have their own direct website, but you can check them out at brokeallday.com. You can also check them out, like I said, on Facebook and everywhere else. Now, not to be confused with the sponsor that's in my community sponsors, which is Gone Broke. Gone Broke is the toy and collectible shows run by my buddy Corey. Big shout out to him. But Gone Broke is the toy and collectibles. Broke East is the car stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, be sure to do so. But today, guys, we are here with our back at it again episode of Casual Conversation. We're going to be talking about Raw on Netflix. We're going to be talking about the entire episode, kind of breaking it down here. And we actually also have this video playing off to my right because I'm going to use it as a time check. So I don't want to go too far into this video. I don't want to have a 30-minute, 45-minute video. So we're going to make sure we keep this very much in the time frame that it should be. So we're going to kind of rattle this stuff off pretty quick, hit a couple of major points, and kind of coast by on the others. Let's start Raw off just the way it did. The Rock comes out. He is embracing Netflix, embracing the change. A very great moment between him and Cody Rhodes, I think, which was much and well-deserved. I think that is for sure something that we did see coming eventually. The Rock still playing into that heel persona. He does have the outfit on. He did come out with the People's Championship. He was looking very heel Rock, that is for sure. But I don't know where we're going to go with this as things continue to change. Do we see a double change? Do we see a double flip where he comes back as being good, embraces Roman Reigns, embraces Cody Rhodes, a lot of embracing, and then maybe does the double turn, and then we see him aligning with Solo? I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I do know there is still a lot of twist and turn in this Bloodline story. And the beautiful thing about it, guys, is when you really think about the storyline of the Bloodline itself, I mean, amazing to be able to continue to grow a story and how do I want to say, a family-based story, which is so it's not the norm. It's not the norm in today's wrestling. You know, we see a lot of feuds. We see a lot of feuds over, maybe girlfriends, wives. Oh, you said this about me. You said this about me. You did this. You double-crossed me. And a lot of that stays the same. But to have a very genuine family-based storyline, I feel is one of the greatest things that WWE is doing at this time. It's making WWE the place to be when it comes to long-term storytelling. And that is one of the biggest problems I think we see when it comes down to these other organizations, and I don't want to just single out and say AEW, TNA, any of these places, you know what I mean? That's not exactly where I'm going, but it is a tough thing to get invested in when it's like, all right, we're just having matches to have matches. And I do love wrestling. I love the point of finally getting in the ring, bringing that story together, and wrestling. But the problem that you have with something like that, again, is if you're just wrestling to wrestle and it's for a belt, great. If it's for nothing, then it's just a match to have a match. It's not to get you somewhere. Every match is kind of like going into the UFC, you know, and I know some people could even maybe debate this with me, but it's kind of like the UFC where, you know, every time fighters fight, you're progressing to move up in that ranking. You are progressing to get closer to your end goal, which for any fighter has to be that world championship. No mixed martial artist, no MMA fighter, no UFC fighter, no professional boxer starts to do that. Nobody starts that journey without the intentions of the final goal, the finish line being that I am the world champion in my weight class. So, that being said, again, wrestling just to wrestle, it defeats the purpose. So that's why it's so great to be able to see this happening. It's so great to be able to see that the Bloodline story has continued. We did see that, like I said, on Monday night, and The Rock, he came out, he had his words, he spoke, this and that. He left. And when The Rock left, I leaned over, I looked at my girl, I said, hey, well, there he goes. I said, that was the 10 minutes that we get. I'm like, and he's out of here. I said, he's on his way to hopping on the plane, hopping on the private jet. See you later. The Rock is gone. So I did not expect The Rock to come back out again, but that followed the Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, tribal combat, the true, genuine tribal chief. Who was going to be the winner? Who was going to be victorious? Well, I kind of expected something else to happen. I genuinely believed that that match was going to somehow end with a no contest in some way or another, where Roman Reigns is either, you know, out of the arena, Solo leaves, somebody runs away, just something. I figured it was going to be that way. So I was very, very surprised to see that Roman did win, was recrowned with the Ulafala, and I think that that's great. I think it was a great opening match for Netflix. I think that's fantastic. But I was very surprised. I thought it was going to carry on and continue to go longer and longer. I figured Solo would have ran off with the Ulafala yet again. Something. I figured the story would have continued that way, but I'm very happy to see that now we have kind of stepped over yet another stone here. We're on the walking path to that end result eventually here, which I assume has to finally cap at WrestleMania. I think the Bloodline will still be a thing afterwards, but I think it is going to change very much so. But again, we will see what happens there. So a lot to be decided. The match was great. I definitely think it was fantastic. I think Roman and Solo, from entrances to finish, that match had to have gone for a half hour. I mean, that had to have been 30 minutes, if not close to it, or somewhere around there. So very nice to see. Very nice to see that they're giving us a pay-per-view style match type and a pay-per-view style time for the first Raw on Netflix, which I think was incredible and very much well deserved. From there, The Rock did come back out. That's when I was very surprised. It was also around that moment, I think I saw something online where it said he was going to be on NXT. I actually got to catch up to NXT. We're on Thursday here, so today I'm going to rewatch NXT. I'm also going to rewatch AEW, and then tonight I might catch up on TNA, or we might even watch that tomorrow. But we didn't know that. I didn't know that anyway. So The Rock on NXT gave me a reason to believe, okay, well, maybe he is going to be around then. Throughout the night, we'll see what else happens, but yet again, The Rock making an epic appearance, and a wonderful one at that. I always love seeing The Rock. I don't think anybody doesn't want to see The Rock. But I tell you what, they didn't want to see Hulk Hogan, and I will get to that very soon. But as far as it goes, like I said, the match was great. I think Roman definitely, gave a great performance, as well as Solo. I think it was fantastic. We got a little interference. We got the, Jay and Jimmy, Jay, Sammy, we had the Jacob, and there's so many Tungas, Tama, Tunga, Toga, Loga. There's so many Tongas and all these other things, but they were out there, and they made their appearance as well, and it was great. It was great to see them all get a little part in that match. As well as Jay also having a match that night with Drew McIntyre, which was great. But the Ulafala match, the Tribal Combat match, I think that was very, very well put together. I don't know exactly who produced that. I didn't see who was the producer on that match. I would assume between like Jason Jordan and Michael Hayes and maybe Bruce Pritchard. I know there's a lot of guys that go and involved with these matches and putting things together. So big shout out to all the people that were working on that match. Up next, I think after that match was over, I am not 100% sure. What did we get after that? Was it the Women's World Title match, or was it John Cena? I might be going in, not in order here, but it doesn't really matter. We're just going to go over this whole show. So let's just go with John Cena. John Cena came out. I got very, very excited because, number one, we had the new attire, which was awesome. I very much expected him to come out in the red, last time is now t-shirt, but it was very nice to see him paying tribute to the LA Dodgers, or I think it is still the LA Dodgers. I'm not sure if that's what they're calling it now. I know some teams had changed over the past few years, but the LA Dodgers paying tribute to that with the colors looked very, very nice. Can't wait for that Elite figure to come out. But even one better, wouldn't it be awesome if we received like a Mattel Creations 5-pack, and from now until the time John Cena is all done with this run, he came out with 5 new attires, and we got it similar to that LWO 5-pack where it's just 5 John Cenas in all the attires all together. I would love that. I would certainly pay the $100 price point for it without question. But either way, we will see what happens with that. Can't get too into the figures right now. We got to stick with the show. So as we continue to go on here, the John Cena, coming out, I was very excited though because I saw the knee pads on. He was in his wrestling attire. I said, "Oh, are we gonna get his John Cena match right here?" That's what I anticipated. I very much expected that to be what we were gonna see, and unfortunately, not the case. But it was very nice to know that Cena will be in the Royal Rumble, Cena will be at the Elimination Chamber, Cena will be in WrestleMania, and he will continue to also be here for the rest of this year, all the way up until December. So I'm very much hopeful to see a great run from Cena. I pray he does get the belt. I really do. I know some people are against it. I am all for it. John Cena is my guy, and I would love to see him get that WWE Championship yet again. And I also think that it has to be the WWE Championship. I think the World Heavyweight Championship would be great, and that would be fantastic if he does get it. But I think the WWE Championship is what it has to be. It has to be that belt. It has to be. So we will see where that goes. Maybe it will be him versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe it will be him versus Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. What a triple threat match that would be. Imagine if you made it a fatal 4-way and you introduced CM Punk. You've got guys that have nothing but ties between them. They are all linked in one way or another. What a fatal 4-way match that would be, right? But we can all dream. Of course, I can fantasy book all day, but that is just going to be what we end off with that. So Cena made his appearance. It is great to see him back. After that, I think we did have the Women's World Championship match. Very, very excited to see Rhea Ripley pick the belt back up. I was, again, very skeptical of what we were going to see. However, I did intend that we were going to see a title change on Raw, and with what was available to us, it was kind of basically that. I mean, granted, you could sit there and say the Ulafala, the Tribal Chief, is a title. It could very well be presented that way, and that was a title change, essentially going from Solo back to Roman. But in that regard, you have to really think about, actual championship belts, something that is an actual display piece, something that can be seen to the audience. And even though that Ulafala is very much seen, it is not a technical championship. So, of course, seeing Rhea Ripley get that belt back from Liv Morgan was absolutely fantastic. I think it was much, much deserved. I am looking forward to the reign of Rhea ahead of us, as it was a fantastic reign prior to its ending. Of course, her injury being part of the reason that all came to a conclusion. So I'm very, very excited. Hopefully, we will see a lot of Rhea Ripley moving forward, as we always do, and a great spotlight for her to be in. Up next, we will just talk about the Jay and Drew McIntyre match. Very good match. I think it definitely showcased both men in fantastic fashion and great talent. The two of them are definitely two absolutely top stars and great guys in that, and we can only give them so much credit past what we already have. I mean, Drew McIntyre, an absolute workhorse. I think Jay is definitely an absolute workhorse as well. No question about it. When the WWE continues to lose top guys, top stars that are kind of on their way out, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I don't mean this to be disrespectful in any way, but obviously John Cena will be making his final run this year. How much longer do we have CM Punk? How much longer do we have some of these guys, you know? So, of course, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Solo, Jacob Fatu, so many guys that need to be, very well presented, and that's just, I think, a great way to keep doing that, is to present them in the way that they have been. Fantastic matches, making themselves look so durable, so tough. So what a wonderful thing that is. Let's get a little time check here, guys. Where are we? We're at, I think we're about 15 minutes into this video. So we're about 15 minutes in this video. We're going to go for hopefully about another 10 and we'll wrap this up. But, to keep moving forward, a couple other things on the night. We also did have, let's see, for matches. What did we have altogether for matches? We had Solo and Roman. We had Drew and Jay. We had Rhea and Liv. And we had Punk and Rollins. I think that was that the only matches? Am I missing one? I might be missing one here, but I think that might have been it. Not 100% sure. I think that was it. But either way, we'll get to the rest of these. And, so we had those matches on the night. Let's go into segments now. Of course, they did say that Becky Lynch's time was cut for her return because The Undertaker came out to celebrate with Rhea Ripley, kind of passing that torch of like that, demonic, demon-like style that Rhea Ripley definitely has. I believe that they very much so wanted to pass that from Undertaker to Bray Wyatt. Unfortunately, very sad case, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, and very sad that has happened. And I think now they're trying to maybe change course a little bit. I think it makes sense. Rhea Ripley, definitely that person, definitely that vibe. If not, I mean, you'd have to probably go with Damian Priest, but I think Damian's already on his trajectory, and he's on his path to be where he needs to be. I think Rhea, very much the same and very similar, but it was a great piece to add that to her. I will say, if that cut Becky Lynch's time altogether for her return, I don't know. It seems a bit off. I know they also said there was a potential for Charlotte Flair to come back, and she was cut as well. I don't know. It's these are all things and rumors that we hear, guys. So unfortunately, it's very hard to be able to say this is a guarantee that this happened and we know this for fact. Unless you're working backstage, unless you're working for the WWE, it's going to be very hard to be able to say that for sure that this is what we're dealing with. So either way, a great segment though. I loved seeing The Undertaker come out. Loved seeing The Undertaker come out as the American Badass. That is also very, very cool, on the motorcycle, riding around the ring, bringing me back to my original days of loving The Undertaker after his return. Originally, his initial return back in that form, all the way leading up to his Buried Alive match, of course, where then he came back as the Dead Man yet again. So, but American Badass Undertaker, what a great time to be a professional wrestling fan. Him and Rhea looking great out there. And then we have to move on to the next segment that I'm going to talk about, which is Hulk Hogan. Guys, I don't really know what to say. What a mess that was. What a absolute mess that was. I don't know exactly where it's coming from. People are saying it's multiple reasons, but I don't really know exactly what the problem is, because here's the issue. And a lot of people were relating it to the Hulk Hogan, racist scandal that came out back in 2015, 2016. And I also remember there even being reports of there being some racist something with Hogan around 2006. Again, this is all stuff that's on the internet. You guys can all go look it up. I don't want to go into heavy detail with it. I'm going to go into very light detail. The racial allegations that stemmed from 2015, 2016 essentially were that his daughter, Brooke Hogan, was in a relationship. And apparently, Hogan's take on the relationship was, well, if you're going to date a man of color, or if you are going to date a black man, well, then why not be a professional athlete? Why not be a basketball player? Why not be a football player? Why does it have to be somebody who's not even famous? Not verbatim. I'm just giving you basically what he said, which again, essentially was, if you're going to choose to date somebody, that is however they wanted to word it. Like I said, I'm not going to word it here, but you guys already know. You can go and look it up online. You can probably see it for yourself. His point was, why are you going to date somebody who nobody knows and has no money when you could be doing the same thing with a ball player or a football player, basketball player, a professional athlete, somebody who has all the money in the world? And unfortunately, Hogan's comments on that have, of course, turned a lot of people against him. And I'm sure people stayed against him from that time. As I always say, and I am not going to get into this either, guys, I am one of those people who has a very easy way of determining the line between professional wrestler and actual person. It is as simple as that. It would be like Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was a fantastic, phenomenal, I tried to put those two words into one, but a fantastic and phenomenal performer. Great champion, great athlete, great professional wrestler, without a doubt. Could go down in reality as maybe one of the, top 25 wrestlers of all time as far as actual in-ring ability, in-ring skill. Does that not make him a piece of shit for everything he did in his personal life on that very dark and grim day? Absolutely. He is all of that. But there is a line that has to be, deciphered between professional wrestler and actual person. And that's just the way that I will leave it, and that's where it should be. Now, with that, I will jump into this. Hulk Hogan, I don't think actually was booed because of those racist comments, because they were already out and about. I think the general reason why Hogan is in the situation he is in is, if I remember correctly, I believe LA is a blue state. I believe LA voted Democrat. So for Hulk Hogan to be at Trump rallies, supporting Trump, being a big Trump supporter, real American beer. I mean, some people might even just take offense to the name of that, which, I'm not even going to lie. If you do, then, I mean, if you hear real American beer and you go, oh, I'm scared, I heard real American beer. Well, then you know what, guys, maybe professional wrestling isn't the place for you. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's kind of the spot where that's where it hits. You're either got to be able, like I said, to decipher between the two and let certain things go, or hold those grudges forever and be miserable with it forever. That's your choice. However, I will say, I think that's what it really stems from. I think it's the Trump rallies, being a heavy Trump supporter, making it known, all of that recently happening, and of course the inauguration of Donald Trump happening very soon. I don't know if that's today, yesterday. I don't even know what day it is, as I could really care less about politics. I really could. But knowing that, I think that is why Hogan had such heavy boos rained down on him. However, if this show took place in New York, or if this show took place in maybe Texas, I'm sure it would have been a different story. I don't think you would have heard the boos like that. I don't think it would have been that way, because those are predominantly red states. But again, it is what it is. This is about Raw on Netflix. This is not about Democrats on Netflix or Republicans on Netflix. This is about Raw, Monday Night Raw on Netflix. So, as always, that right there, a very tough segment, I would say. But again, we'll see what happens as the future continues to pan out for Hulk Hogan, for professional wrestling, and see where his time eventually winds up. But there is one thing I do want to state before we get off the topic of Hulk Hogan. If anybody did see Hogan come out, man, it was hard to watch. I was like, man, he's not looking good anymore. He's not moving like he used to. I mean, even just a few years ago, it looked like Hogan was getting around a little bit better. But all those back surgeries, all that stuff that he went through, all the years of bumping and taking those hits, it's definitely caught up to him tenfold. And it makes you really have to say to yourself how crazy it is to think that Hulk Hogan is walking around like this. Clearly, he's not going to have any significant full match in wrestling anytime soon, but how crazy it is that Ric Flair is talking about doing another wrestling match. How wild is that? Absolutely insane. It is insane to see Hogan move like that and to see Ric Flair talking about being in another match in the potential near future. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we won't. On to the final part here, guys. Let's wrap this up with none other than CM Punk versus Seth frickin' Rollins. And guys, what a match it was. I gotta say, I loved watching every bit of it. It was a phenomenal match. A couple of maybe light hesitations in there. Nothing too bad. Nothing really botchy. But, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes when you're going full force with somebody, you kind of hold back a little bit because you also don't want to, you know, put somebody in a situation where you're injuring them or they're injuring you. So definitely a very, you know, very understandable a couple of moments there where it was just kind of like, it was like almost like they kind of put a little slow-mo on, but it was still good. They kept up with it. They picked the paces up where it needed to be. And a phenomenal match. I actually thought that Rollins would win only because I figured it would lead to a trio of matches kind of similar to Drew McIntyre, you know, where it was, I think it was in order. It went Drew, Punk, Punk. So I thought this was going to be Rollins, Punk, Punk, you know, but hey, this could be even better. It would even be nicer to see that if it's going to go three ways. I mean, hey, we have a rematch, Rollins wins, and then it's, you know, 1-1 going into the third one, and maybe Punk pulls it off and gets the win back after the rematch loss. So we will see what happens there. We will see what continues to go on. I loved how the presentation of the match was. The curb stomps from Punk, the GTS from Rollins. You know, great match. A great match all the way around. The only thing I didn't care for was the little spin around there. Of course, obviously, you know, you're talking Punk did it to Jon Moxley in AEW. He's now done it to Seth Rollins in WWE. The little GTS spin off the rope back onto Punk. He picks him back up, hits him with another GTS. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that, you know, if you're a professional wrestling fan, maybe something a little different would have been nice, just because we've seen it so recently, kind of, which I can't even really say so recently because the match with him and Jon Moxley was over 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, something like that. So kind of a little tough to sit there and say that as well. But it would have been nice just for maybe a little bit something different. That's just my opinion. But hey, you know what? Everybody has their opinion. And so do you. And that's why, guys, I want to ask you for your opinion down in the comments below. Make sure you're leaving me a comment about what you thought about Raw on Netflix. What is your future outlook for Raw on Netflix? What do you think we're going to see? What do you think we're going to get? I know a lot of people were upset we didn't go right back into the Attitude Era, but I think it leaves a lot of open doors for future talent and future creativity to be expanded upon. So I hope that we do see that. I hope that we see countless memories made in this Netflix era. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be absolutely every last bit of what we really wanted to see. We've got The Rock. We've got John Cena. We've got CM Punk. Guys, what is going on in professional wrestling? On top of that, we did have the Hogan appearance. We did have the Taker appearance. I mean, guys, it is just getting better and better. We've got Roman Reigns. We've got the Bloodline. You know, I mean, there's just so much going on. Cody, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. There's so much going on in professional wrestling right now. And I'll be honest with you, it is looking like with this, Raw and WWE have no plans of looking back now. It is full speed ahead, and it is full speed ahead all the way to the Royal Rumble, all the way to the Elimination Chamber, and before you know it, we'll be at WrestleMania in Vegas. How crazy is that? But guys, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of another fantastic episode of Casual Conversation. This might have been even one of my best episodes yet. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. Like I've said to you guys before, you know, sometimes we all deal with it. We deal with some tough things in our life, and I will say this to you from somebody who has experienced it and somebody who is still going through it. If you are in need of any mental or professional health, please seek it. Please go and find it, because I will tell you this, it is a tough thing to live with every single day. And you have to find that great side of things. You have to find that positive side of life and continue to live it with every last bit of your being. So with that, if you are in search of it, please make sure you go out and find it. Please make sure you go out and advocate for yourself to be in that position. Even if you don't have the funds or the availability maybe to go to some type of counseling or some type of mental health, doctor. Speak out to your friends, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to the people who love you the most, the people who check in on you the most. Reach out to them, because guess what? They do want to hear about it. They do want to talk to you. And they do want to make sure that they're able to talk to you again and again and again for days to come. So make sure you do check that out, guys. But as always, I do want to say, for myself, for me here at Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, and for all the figures that you see here, for all these casual conversation episodes, and for everything else in between, I appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't already, get over to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon, because you're going to want to make sure you're seeing my daily videos every single day. And if you haven't already, make sure you get in the description of this video. Go down to our community and sponsors. They're right in that description. Make sure you check all of them out. Follow them on all available social... Follow them on all available social media platforms. And I'm sure they will be so grateful that you did. Guys, until the next episode, until the next video, stay safe and stay tuned, and I will see you all there.